Well, even though I received short notice to preach this morning, I've decided to preach on the text. After all, it is Rally Day. The day that we talk about Sunday school and the little ones, and next Sunday being the first day of Sunday school. And so you're probably asking this morning, how in the world is he going to get the Roman army into that sort of Don't worry, I will. But first, a little bit about the history of Sunday school. A lot of people don't know this, but it originally started in around 1870 in England by two men in two different cities, Dursley and Rake. And in those days, kids worked in factories. They received no schooling during the week. They were poor. Think homeless. Think poor home life. Think alcoholism and other problems. And so these two men thought it would be a good idea to have school on Sunday. Sunday school, to teach them the 3 R's. Let's repeat those together. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. The Bible was the textbook of the schools that were held on Sunday. The Bible. The same thing's true of our country. In the year 1776, when we had the Declaration of Independence, most schools used the textbook, the Bible as a textbook. Later on, churches picked up the idea of Sunday school. And now we go on to the text. It says here, you have hidden these things from the wise and understanding. Well, I looked up some translations of this. Wise is wise, but there's different translations for the learned. So it says that God has hidden these things from the wise and learned people, or clever people, or the intelligentsia, the intellectuals. Well, who were the wise in Jesus' day? The Greeks. You remember Socrates and Aristotle. They were long dead at the time of Christ, but Athens and Greece was still the seat of wisdom, the intellectual life. You want to get a good education, you sent your son to Greece. Still was. Even though the Roman army had conquered the whole known world at that time, Greece was still the center of learning. And guess what? Everybody in the empire spoke Greek. It was the universal language, just as today English is universal. Today, when a pilot from Africa who speaks Swahili lands in the airport in Frankfurt, Germany, where they speak German, the tower and the pilot talk to each other in English. And so it was at the time of Christ. They wrote the Bible. James, Simon Peter, they all wrote in Greek. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the originals were in the Greek language because that's what everybody spoke. And they wanted to get the word out. The word to the entire empire about Jesus Christ. And who were the learned? Well, we could say they were the scribes and the Pharisees. The wise rejected Jesus. The learned rejected Jesus. Jesus said, unless you change, that means converted. Unless you become converted and become like little children, have faith like them, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Jesus is the answer. He gives peace. He gives contentment. He gives us forgiveness through his death on the cross. He is our righteousness. We're not holy in ourselves. We're not better than anybody else. We are righteous in God's sight because of his Son, Jesus Christ, and his sacrifice for us. And we must pass that message on to the little ones, the future of the church. Because what they hear later in high school or college will not be Jesus, especially in our universities. It's sad to say that Harvard and Yale, both institutions, were originally founded as seminaries. Yale Divinity College. They were founded to train pastors in theology. Today, the professors at Harvard and Yale don't preach Jesus. No. They preach a lot of other subjects. And that's why Sunday school is so important. That we prepare the little ones for the fight that is to come. And to that end, I personally want to thank all of our Sunday school teachers this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless you for what you do. Today we recognize these teachers and others in our lives who have told us about Jesus in the past, today, and in the days to come. Amen.